Hello and welcome to this webcast demonstration of IBM Control Centre. My name is Stuart Newman and I'm a member of the UKI technical team within the IBM Watson Supply Chain Division. I'm going to provide an introduction to Control Centre, just set the scene a little bit with a few slides and then go into the live software. So as part of that context setting, Control Centre is part of IBM's Managed File Transfer suite of solutions, and that comprises the following. So there's Connect Direct, which handles ultra-high security point-to-point file transfers. There's Sterling File Gateway for partner management and file transfer management. There's Sterling Secure Proxy, which helps with the prevention of unauthorized access into the trusted zone. And of course, what we're looking at today, Control Centre, which is a solution for unified governance and visibility of all of your B2B and NFT operations. The capabilities of Control Centre break into three principal areas: service level management, reporting, and governance and compliance. Service level management really is the heart of what Control Centre is doing, and it's here that the various monitoring and actions are configured. So within service level management, there are a number of out-of-the-box rules that you can customize. You can equally create your own very quickly, and you can set those up to watch for particular events happening in all of the various solutions and servers that are being monitored. And there's a list at the bottom of the screen there showing the range of things that can be monitored. Once you have a rule or a series of rules put together, you can link those to various actions, so sending emails, alerting on dashboards, alerting on workspaces, and so on. And within the service level management, you can configure not just a fairly simple scenario such as alert me if a particular file transfer has failed. You can set up more complex scenarios, so chaining a number of different events together, or perhaps looking for an event that should happen, say within a given time window, but doesn't happen, and then taking actions based on that. On the reporting side, there are just over 40 reports out of the box. These are driven by IBM's own business intelligence Cognos solution. These reports can be, again, customized, new ones can be created, and they can be run either in a scheduled way or in an on-demand way, and they cover such things as operational reporting. So things that have been happening in the file transfer environment, but they'll also report on audit trails, so configuration changes to Control Centre itself. The difference really with the reporting and the service level management side of things, with the service level management, what you're getting there is a view of what's happening or what's just happened. The reporting side is giving you a more historical view, looking at trends, say over a month or a quarter or a year, that kind of thing. Lastly, there's the governance and compliance area, and this is looking at the environment, the actual solutions themselves and their health. So looking at the status of particular servers, giving you information on, say, licenses, being able to alert you when licenses are due to expire, that kind of thing. And also, particularly for Connect Direct and Connect Express, acting as a centralized configuration management hub. So configurations for multiple Connect Direct or Connect Express nodes can be managed, assessed, changed, and pushed out from a central place. So going just a level deeper in terms of detail, Control Centre at its heart, as you'll see in the diagram on the screen there, is the engine. This is known as the event processor. And what this is doing is taking in information from all of the systems that are being monitored, normalizing that, and working with the database and the Cognos Business Intelligence Server to present that information in a number of ways. In the first instance, it's going to be presentable in the console for Control Centre. There's a desktop console and a web console, and it's the web console I'm going to be looking at today when I go into the demonstration. From there, you can go straight into the browser-based consoles for a number of the Sterling solutions, so Connect Direct, B2B Integrator, Sterling File Gateway, but equally, you can also interact with other third-party systems, so email servers for sending email alerts, or perhaps using SNMP traps to feed information out to enterprise management systems or other systems. In terms of the way that information is exposed, there are two principal methods for that. There's the dashboard and the workspace. The dashboard is the main landing page, if you like, for the web console. It's the main monitor view with a number of key indicators. These are individual widgets that are created in Cognos, and although those widgets themselves are fixed, the overall look and feel of the dashboard can be reskinned to fit in with corporate requirements. And from this dashboard landing page, you can drill through to other screens for more detailed information. Slightly different approach with the workspaces. These are very much dedicated analytic and reporting areas. They can be set up for individual users, so a personal workspace, or they can be set up as work group workspaces. For the personal ones, as an administrator, you'll actually set up which particular widgets are showing there and the look and feel of those, but you can also allow your users to add and remove other widgets, customize the look and feel and the general layout of the workspace. And that's really, if you like, the structure of the demonstration. So I put together a scenario to show some of the capabilities of Control Centre. And this idea of the workspaces in particular is very much part of the way Control Centre is designed to surface information that is important and relevant to different people in different roles. Obviously, they're going to have different requirements, different responsibilities. So I've taken 3 examples. So someone working in ops, someone working in a project team, and someone working in compliance, just to show the different ways that workspaces can be constructed and the different ways that information can be aimed at those people. So ops people are going to be looking at things like current volume of transfers, whether that's having an impact on the network. The project team is very much more of a ring-fenced view. They're looking just at a particular project that they're working on, so maybe in this instance some test runs. And the compliance people will be looking at it again from a different point of view. So they'll be perhaps looking at licenses, or they might be looking at other alerts, so if configuration changes happen too frequently, that kind of thing. So that's the basis for the demonstration, and I'm going to switch now into so we're coming first to the landing page. I'm going to log in as an administrator. And what we'll see first of all is the dashboard. So we have the 4 widgets, and in order, those are the recent file transfer activity widget. And we can see in here, if I change the range of the view, we can change it to a different time period, extend that out a bit as well, and we can see a number of different entries there. Make that a little bit bigger. And here we see a count of file transfers by different server types. So in this particular instance, we can see there's one entry for Connect Direct, no entries for third-party FTP servers in this scenario, but a number of entries for B2B Integrator and or Sterling File Gateway. And each of these points, these data points, are hot links, and you can click on them. So if you see on February the 14th, we had 4 transfers going through Connect Direct, 16 going through B2B Integrator. So if I click on that, we will drill down to that extra level of detail. And what we see here is a tabular view of those individual file transfers. You can further filter it on this screen, perhaps by success, failure, and so on, and you can also change the date. You can also change these columns. I mean, I've just put some standard ones in here, so we see when this particular file transfers were started, when they ended, what the server type was, file names, what inbound, outbound, and so on. So you can very easily change the columns here, so you can get information that's in the way that you actually want it. So going back to the dashboard, if I go down a little bit, we see 2 other widgets. There's the Active Alerts widget, which is where an administrator can determine that a particular event or sequence of events should generate an alert on here. And we've got one high-level alert showing here, which I'll drill into shortly. Next to that, we have our transfer scorecard, which is a basic quality scorecard showing number of failed, number of successful file transfers. And as with the data points up here, with the active alerts, these are hot clickable as well, so you can drill down there and then get a tabular view of what those things are. Finally, on this dashboard page, we have the environmental health widget, And this is looking at the health of the various systems and subsystems that Control Centre is monitoring. We can see here we have a single B2B integrated server. There are a couple of nodes. One is not active at the moment, one is. We have perimeter server, we have a number of adapters, we have a couple of Connect Direct servers, both of those are active, FTP and secure proxy as well. So this gives you that view of the environment that's being looked at, and that's the dashboard approach. If we turn now to the workspace approach, now I've left this exactly as it is, out of the box. This is just the bare vanilla workspace for the administrator. This is fully changeable and customizable. I thought I'd show you the base one first. So here we have some widgets, and these are widgets, as I say, that were designed in designed in Cognos and surfaced in Control Centre. We've just got a couple of simple ones here. So there's the size and volume of files over time, and showing that in a couple of different ways, a graph way or a tabular way. And then over on the left-hand side, we've got the choice of which particular servers we want to look at, and do we want to filter by date. So it's also here that you create workspaces for other users. So just by clicking on the right-hand side there, I can look at the other things that I've got available here. So if we look at, say, widgets, and let's just pick one widget, we can change the look and feel of our admin workspace, or we can create a brand new workspace and populate that. So change things is just a matter of dragging out a new widget, allowing that to load, and then we see we've got a consumer volumes in a circular way of doing things as well. And we can change that and enlarge the size, move it around, or in this case we'll just remove it from the workspace. In true Blue Peter fashion, I have got a number of workspaces set up for our 3 users for ops, project and compliance. So I'm going to log out as administrator, give you a look at what they, the appearance of those. So I'll just log in first as an operations person. So initially, they get the dashboard view, slightly different as you'll see. They're only actually going to be viewing Connect Direct and PWI and SFG. Same kind of thing, you can change the range of the dashboard, filter it as well. Coming down, they see the active alert as well. They haven't actually got the scorecard selected because they've not selected the date range. But they do have an environmental health view, slightly different from the admin view, basically a cut down of that. So we're assuming in this demo scenario that the ops person is just in charge of looking at B2B Integrator, SFG, and Connect Direct. And if we go to their personal workspace, it's a rather different look from the bare admin one. So this is something that was created in Cognos, and we've got actually an amalgamated widget here with a number of different metrics on here. So the overall metrics section shows you things like total transfer count, volumes, top 5 transactions. On the consumer side, i.e. the system or people or partner sending files, we've got a couple of measures there. And on the producer, the consumer is the receiver, beg your pardon. And the producer side, the actual sender, we've got similar things there as well. And if I click on here, we can scroll down and see we've got consumer and producer totals. This is, as I say, is just a view here. We've put in a little bit of ability for this particular user to change the time scale. If I go to the project teams view, you'll see that that is a rather different view, and I'll show you how individuals can, if you permission them sufficiently, can further customize a workspace that you've created for them. So we log in as the project person. Not having the dashboard, they're not as interested in the dashboard. As I say, this is kind of a ring-fenced project team, only working in one particular area. I'll just let those widgets load. And what we have here is something that is looking at a particular series of test runs. In this scenario, I've selected Connect Direct, and this is a team working on the high-speed add-on called FAST for Connect Direct, running some tests, getting some metrics, seeing how that's going. So they can change the date and time range, look at the different servers that are supporting this FAST test. And over on the right-hand side, we've just got a count of received files and test files by site, so they can see things like rank, date, size, and so on. Each of these individual widgets, as I say, they can customize further. So, for example, they may want to change the look and feel of this, so they can quickly access that. So they might want to say, okay, let's perhaps have a pie chart. We can have a donut area, scatter, and there's a huge range of different ways they can change that. If they're happy with the particular chart type they've got, they can just change the basic color scheme of that, or they can put it back to anything they want, change the axes and so on. So they can further customize this, even though you've given them this sort of customized thing. And if you sufficiently permission them, they can add additional widgets to that as well. So let's come out of this one and look at the compliance view. Again, somewhat different person, different responsibilities, but we're surfacing information from the same monitored environment. So I'll come in as compliance. Again, no dashboard for this particular person. That's more of an ops view, but they have got their own workspace. And this is looking at active alerts by category. So this is basically saying, okay, there's a number of categories that I as a compliance person need to be aware of. And for this scenario, I've selected configuration changes to Control Centre itself, critical activity, and it's down to the administrator to determine what is critical for your particular business, but anything that does fit that bucket, if you like, or fit that bill, it gets put into this bucket. Any crypto changes, so decrypting or encrypting of files, things like digital certificates being expired, being attempted to do a file transfer, they will show up there. A general miscellaneous one, and again, the administrator determines what those are, and any security problems, so things coming into the system that shouldn't, that kind of thing. And in terms of the threshold, what we can do is say, okay, show me on here all of the incidents that are happening in these categories, but also if we go over a particular threshold, and you can just click on here and change that threshold, then actually raise an alert as well, or do additional actions. So to actually show what this looks like, I'm going to come out of this particular view. And what I'm going to do is deliberately switch off one of the Connect Direct servers that is being monitored. So I'll just stop that there. And what we'll see is how that's actually represented in a couple of different views. So I'm going to look at the ops view of this, and also what the compliance person sees of this as well. So I'll just wait for that to actually stop. And then if I come back in as our ops person, we've got two now. One was from an earlier test run that I did, but we can click on this alert and say, yeah, okay, one was 20 minutes ago, one was just a minute ago, the one that I've done. And what we're actually going here, this is an adapter that I switched off just to try this, but this particular one I've just done, what we see is the description, the Connect Direct server is down. Here's the error code that is actually sent by that. And from this view as well, what I can do is not just look at them. If I'm an ops person, I can say, okay, I'm going to fix this. And what we do is click on here and just put in sort of fixed it, or a name and time. And then this will actually disappear from the screen. I won't actually do that because I still want to look at it from the compliance perspective as well. So I will, actually just before I log out, I will go back to looking at this and show you a little more detail. If we click on here, we can actually drill down to a further level. So in terms of that alert, we can see what the name of the rule was, what the message ID was, and we can see it's a SEV1 and an event ID, node name, and so on. So we can get additional detail as we log into there. That's right, as we drill down into there. So I log out and come in as my compliance person. Same information, same event if you like, but surfaced in a different way. So coming to here, we'll see that in the personal workspace for the compliance person, we've actually got an entry now in our table. Give that a second or two to load. And we see that I've actually put it in the miscellaneous category. We see here that we've got an entry on our miscellaneous category. It's below the threshold, so it wouldn't normally send an alert. wouldn't normally take additional actions. I've set it up to do so just to demonstrate something which I'll show in a second. But here we see this, they've got their 5 alert threshold. And for example, a scenario where this might come into play is if you take perhaps the configuration side of things. So this is letting the compliance person know that configuration changes have been made to connect to Control Centre. And it may be that a couple of changes a day is business as usual. That's nothing to be worried about. They'll still be tracked on this alerts by category workspace, but it's only if you go over, let's say our threshold is more than 6 configuration changes in 1 hour, that we would classify as perhaps suspicious information. So we could change this threshold here to say, okay, well, if it goes above that, then not only do I want to see it on here, but I want other actions taken. And I've done one of these other actions for our deliberate miscellaneous thing. So if I'll actually log out as the compliance person for the moment, and I will show that we've got a little email server here. So the compliance person, in this particular scenario, I said, okay, if you do get this event, so a Connect Direct server failing, do a couple of things. I want you to have notification on the workspace for that particular user, and also send an email as well. So, hello compliance team, for your information, a particular server has gone down and there's additional information there. Now, that's the view of things. What I wanted to show you was how easy it is to set that kind of thing up. So I'm going to come back into Control Centre, this time as the administrator again, and show you how I put together that kind of thing. So we'll actually go to look at the rules section. And I mentioned this in terms of the service level management side of things. Now, there are a number of rules out of the box. To say you can customize those very easily. It's very, very easy to actually create your own. So it's just a matter of adding a new rule and then linking it to other artifacts. So we've got all of our artifacts that we're going to be configuring here. So we've got our rules, the SLC, service level criteria. These are the configuration artifacts for setting up watches for when something is supposed to happen in a given window or time frame but doesn't. We've got our actions, we've got calendars, email lists, schedules, and so on. So the best way of showing those is to actually just start to create a rule. We'll give it a little name. We can add the description as well. And we're going to say, okay, what is going to trigger this rule? So we're going to specify the event details that will trigger this rule. And as you can see, we've got a list of the various different types of things. Some of these are generic ones. Some of them are linked to particular solutions. So all the CX ones are for Connect Direct and Connect Express. We've got other ones that are specific to File Gateway. There are ones for MQNT and so on. So I'm going to pick one of the excuse me, one of the Connect Direct ones. So we're looking for a particular return code or error code. We're going to say look for that, and when it absolutely matches whatever that return code is, then you're going to fire this rule. I can chain a number of different events together to say, okay, this consider this rule triggered if all of these things happen. Once we've got our parameter, we'll then say, okay, so when is this going to run? When is this rule active? So we can create a new schedule. We can select a couple that are pre-built there. So I've got one, say, just running on weekdays, or we've got one here where you're notifying the system of planned maintenance downtime. So you don't want alerts sent if you're deliberately taking the server down. If none of the ones that you've got there particularly appeal, then you can just go to the schedules, create your own schedule as well, and either link that to that rule, or one of the advantages of having these artifacts separated out and loosely coupled is that you can create schedules that are used by multiple different rules, or actions that are used by different rules, and so on. So I'm going to pick just one of the standard ones here. So yeah, just run this one on weekdays. And then if you do have this particular event happening, what are we going to do? What are actions are we going to take? So in this particular instance, we'll say, okay, what I want to do is generate an alert and send an email to our compliance person. I've called this action demo server down. And you'll see there the way the body of that email is put together and the subject. And we just use variables to actually populate that with a particular node name. And then I can create additional actions as well. So we can have a series of actions all kicking off from the same thing. So it's very, very easy to put together the rule, the schedules that the rule is going to fire on, whatever the action or actions are, and we just control exactly what's happening. So I'm going to stop there, as this is only an introduction to Control Centre. Hopefully it's given you an idea of not only the amount of information that Control Centre can capture, but the way that it can present that information in different formats to different people with different requirements. So I'll go back to the presentation. If you would like more information, please just go to the web address shown on the screen there, or by all means contact me. My email address is there. And I hope very much that you've enjoyed the presentation and the webcast. And if you would like further information, then please follow either of those routes there. Thank you very much indeed.